Good morning, everyone. Okay, so living here, having my coffee again with you all. Of course, it's going to get cold because I'm going to talk, but you all drink yours and enjoy, or whatever time of day it is, enjoy whatever you're doing. I want to talk to you a bit more about the practical aspects of understanding 3D versus 5D. Now, for those of us who live and breathe this stuff, we are really into it deeply, and we see far-reaching implications here. Okay, we talk about feeling energies, and we talk about the fact that there are other dimensions, and we are really into that. Certainly there are other dimensions, and the reason we don't see them with these eyes is because they're vibrating at different frequencies. Okay, now we've talked about how the planet has shifted from 3D to 5D. Yet, I can still see people who are thinking, behaving, acting in a 3D manner, as well as I can see people who are behaving 5D. As a matter of fact, the same person who is 3D can slip into 5D and then back to 3D. It's because it doesn't mean that we are vibrating at such different frequencies that we cannot see each other. 3D and 5D are not vibrating at such different frequencies that we are in dimensions that are so far apart that we can only sense them with our clairabilities. We're actually able to still sense one another with our normal senses. I can still see you, I can still hear you, I can still, with my normal ones, I don't have to use my clairabilities, my clairvoyant abilities, my extraordinary abilities, my extraordinary senses. I still see you with my normal ones, the ones that we all went to school and learned about. And there's the issue. When we went to school, we learned about, well, you can see, and you can hear, and you can smell, and you can taste, and you can touch. We learned about having a physical body, and that you need to keep it clean, and you need to brush your teeth, and you need to exercise. We learned all of those things, but we weren't taught that we are energy. Now, we were taught some things about energy. We were taught, well, there's these protons, and there's these electrons, and there's these neutrons, and we were taught about, well, and there's space, and these protons, electrons, neutrons, they kind of like hold everything together. And so we were taught some kind of vague concepts that seemed to have nothing to do with us. And some of it was brought down to the cellular level. But for the most part, those two notions were not married together at all for us. We're human beings with these five senses. And then there's all that other stuff, all that sciencey stuff. And our health and well-being, our anatomy and physiology, was not related back to that physics stuff. But see, that's the issue. We were taught all the 3D stuff, but we weren't taught about how we exist to begin with. We weren't taught about the things that we need to get into fifth dimensional thinking. Fifth dimensional thinking is the beginning of understanding we're energy. It's where we have to back up and say, hold on a second. There are things we don't know about us that we need to become consciously aware of. So we do things differently, and we come out of lower vibrational energies, dense energies, and we start living higher vibrational lives. We come out of denser behavioral patterns into higher vibrational behavior patterns. Now we're all on the same rock, going around the same sun, and we're vibrating close enough in frequency, we still see each other. The planet's not stopped for us to figure this out. We're all having to do it in real time. And some areas of our life it's easier in. So, oh yeah, I'm 5D thinking there. I'm 5D acting there. I'm in the fifth dimension there. And then in some areas of our life, what? We're still tangled up in 3D activities. So some of us are really in the transitional phases. Some are never going to switch over to it. It's kind of like when electricity came around. Some people put that in their homes and they bought into it and they went wild with it. They had it and that was it. It was the best thing ever. Others, that is never going into my house, and it didn't. And then some others, well, it took a while. Television, same thing. Some went out and bought one right away. Others, that thing's never going in my house. Others took a little bit, and then they warmed up to it. Telephones, same thing. You see what I'm saying? Some people are never going to shift from third dimensional behavioral patterns. They're never going to shift from that energy. You see, we are energy beings. We are energy vibrating at a certain frequency. That frequency is our behavioral patterns, our energy in motion, our emotions, what we're doing, where we're putting our energy, how we're using our energetic bandwidth. And some people are not going to shift. They're going to stay in denser energies, a denser way of being. Others, they're even beyond 5D. They're feeling the energies from the other dimensions. They're into the whole multidimensionality. They understand even way beyond 5D. And so they're talking about things that make the ones who aren't open to anything beyond 3D think that this is all magical thinking or craziness or witchcraft or whatever, because the worlds are too far apart. But 5D is really so much closer to 3D. It's a vibrational change. It's an upgrade from the way we were. It's understanding, hold on a second, I am not just this physical see, taste, hear, smell, and touch, but I'm an energetic being with clair abilities. And I have an intuitive mind that knows, intuits, conceives of things that the thinking mind does not. Now, 3D thinking will say, don't go by that. That'll get you in trouble. 5D thinking, 5D living, 5D existence, 5D vibration understands, no, you were programmed, born and raised in 3D knowledge, level of consciousness, and you were told that your thinking brain was the end all be all of everything, and that emotions were a little bit dangerous. You had to be careful with those. And there's all kinds of proof to back it up, because the programmable mind, the thinking mind, remembers all of that and will play it over and over and over and over. That's stuck energy. That's ruminating. Those are energy loops that get you nowhere. But when we understand, hold on, we are energy. Energy is in motion. It's energy in motion is emotion. We vibrate at frequencies. These frequencies, they are light frequencies, sound frequencies, they are energetic frequencies. And our heart space, which science has proven, has conceptual capability. And the mind, the thinking mind, is programmable. It does not conceive of. All conceptualization occurs in the intuitive mind. hold on. What? That is not what I was taught. I was taught, don't listen to that. That'll get you in trouble. Yes, because that was in a level of consciousness that prized the brain, because it was a level of consciousness about staying safe. But if we play it safe, we will never expand consciousness. If you stayed home and you never went to school, you would never have learned anything. If you stayed home and you never went any place, you would never know anything but home. There's a whole world out there. We have to be expansive. Now, if all you knew was home, the mind, the programmable part, that's all it would know about. And it would tell you, and to it, rightfully so, this is the world. This is everything. This is where you're safe. We've got everything we need here. It all just magically comes here. Somebody's bringing it here, mom, dad, and we've got everything we need here. Don't go out there. We don't know what's out there. We've seen other people go out there and look what happens to them. They get their feelings hurt. They come home tired and dirty, all kinds of stuff. We don't want that to happen to us. But the heart can conceive. The heart's like, well, but I think when we go out there, that's where we become something else. That's the expansiveness. That's where I shine. This is limiting me. And that is how I shine. Well, you might sometimes, but what about the times you don't? Well, what about the times I don't shine here? What about the times I tripped and fell? What about the times that I burnt myself? What about the times that the people around me here don't want me to shine? What about all the times I don't? Well, no, but you're safe. Yeah, but safe isn't always the best thing. If I want to shine and grow in new ways, I have to go with what I can conceive of. I have to step outside of this. No, we don't know about that. This is what we know. Yeah, but I can conceive of there's something out there. Now that may seem simplistic, but that is my point. It is that simple. We have taken 3D and 5D and we don't explain it. We throw these terms out there and we throw them out there in a way that is very scientific and heady. And we get into what some people call the new age of it and the mysticism of it and the metaphysical of it. And I believe in all of that. I'm an esotericist and I do feel and communicate with other dimensions. But for someone who doesn't, for someone who's still in the house and they're starting to get hits from the conceptualizing heart, the intuitive mind, hey, there's something outside. All of that other stuff, that's going to scare the hell out of them. And they're going to be like, well, I was starting to listen to this, but then I heard all that other stuff and that is way too far out there for me. So this is probably not right either. So I better just stay where I'm at. So that's why we have to be very careful when we are talking to people who are transitioning, or at least willing to kind of sort of consider transitioning, who are open, who are becoming awake, who are starting to change level of consciousness. We want to talk to them about 5D, and we want to know what 5D means. Now, I talked the other day about how we can surround ourselves all day long with the pink protective light of transcendent love and all of that stuff. And then if we go on Facebook and start scrolling, well, we've just opened up our energetic field through our eye portals. And we're not protected anymore energetically, because this lets in and out more points of energetic transference We've opened ourselves up to non-resonant energy, and therefore we can pull ourselves out of frequency. So we have to get ourselves back into frequency and put our energetic field back in place, bring in more pink transcendent love to protect us. Now, the pink light ray exists, that is true. And when we surround ourselves with that kind of energy, it does help hold us in frequency. And for those who want to get into the metaphysical of it and the quantum physics of it and all of that stuff, all of those things are true. And the higher dimensionality of ourselves. Yes, we can access the higher dimensionality of ourselves, and it's vibrating differently. And so all of that stuff is true. We can put ourselves in energetic fields and yada, yada, yada. But 5D, well, we're still living in this reality, vibrating where the 3D can still see us and we can still see them. So for 5D living, we still have to deal with the realities of that. So that means we have to understand the practicality of how to live as a 5D intuitive mind, energetic being on a planet that has dual energies, a 3D energy and a 5D energy going. Protecting my energetic field does not mean surrounding myself with pink transcendent energy and then opening up all of my chakras, all of my points of energetic transference to loads of 3D energy and thinking that the pink light, as beautiful and as warm and as protective as it is going to be able to keep all of that 3D energy, that lower vibrational energy, from coming in and pulling me out of frequency. No, that is why we have to be consciously aware and make conscious decisions. It's like someone trying to quit smoking, and yet they walk into a room full of smokers. At first, that's not the thing to do. It's going to cause you to say, damn, I want a cigarette. And before long, you're going to be smoking. You pulled yourself out of frequency. If you are becoming consciously aware of the fact that you are an energetic being, if you're becoming consciously aware of the fact that you want to think and act from the intuitive mind, the heart space, and do things at an energetically different vibrational frequency from unconditional love, where we do not get into the dense energies that bring us to war, famine, child trafficking, not forgiving one another, holding grudges, all of those things, then you have to pull your energy out of the 3D, disconnect from that, put it into your 5D reality that you have conceptualized. And that is what you then have to become that frequency. Now you are vibrating 5th dimensionally, not 3rd dimensionally. And then that is the energy you have to put out. So you attract that back to you. And then the energetic field that you stay in, yes, you can put the pink transcendent light around you, pink transcendent love. It helps. But you have to make the conscious choice to stay in energetic fields that don't pull you out of frequency. Our portals, such as our senses, all the different points of energetic transference, all the places our lives touch other people's lives, all the places that our energetic being interacts with the rest of the world, points of energy transference. The more and more of those we have with people and places and things that are still in denser ways of thinking and being and acting and existing, the more of those we have, the more it will draw us back into lower dimensional thinking, lower energies, denser energies. So we have to make the conscious choice. No, I'm releasing myself from those energies. Now, we cannot get into the judging. They're bad, we're good. No, we were them. We are them. We were at that level of consciousness. That is the way we understood things to be. That was our truth at one time. So we are no better than them. We have just conceptualized of a better truth now, a higher vibrational truth that they have not yet conceived of. And we are choosing to be in that frequency, and they are not. And we have hurts and pains and traumas, dramas, shame, blame, all of that stuff that come from that level of thinking and being and existing and behaving. And we're releasing that and walking away from it. And we're healthy, happy, whole, and complete that way, because we can connect with the rest of our multidimensional self, which you may not be ready to talk about yet. But that's ultimately why we're doing this. But just go with it. You're feeling healthy, happy, whole, more whole and complete. You are happier. You are in a better place energetically in every way, in this way of being, than you are in that way of being. And in this way of being, when enough of us are in this way of being, we affect change worldwide, so that all of those denser energies that were bringing us down into denser ways of being as a collective, they do eventually go away. Everyone eventually has a television and electricity and a telephone. The ones that didn't, they're eventually they go away. And everyone is there. And the world is a better place. It's in 5D. And then you have those that are beyond 5D. And they're saying, come on, let's go to the next dimension of this. Let's see this now. And we will. But for now, this is what you need to understand about the practicality of what we're saying about there's 3D and there's 5D. They're vibrational frequencies. We have energetic bodies that we weren't told about. We didn't have that knowledge. Therefore, we weren't in that level of consciousness. And so we all behaved that way because we didn't know to clear our energy. We didn't know. Now we know. Some people knew about electricity and accepted it immediately. Some people knew about electricity and it took them a while. Some people knew about electricity, they never accepted it. That didn't make them bad. Didn't make the ones who did good. It didn't make the people it took a little bit. It didn't make anybody anything. There's no judgment to be had there. Although many people judged. Can you believe those Hokies? The Okies, whatever we called them, they won't get electricity. There was no room for judgment there. Their level of consciousness, their way of being was, why do I need that? I'm just fine the way I am. But this is a better way of being. You can do so much more. It's so much more expansive. Yeah, I'm expansive enough. I want to stay the way I am. You want to stay in the dark as soon as it's dark outside? Yeah. Well, that's your choice. Yes, it is. But you're limiting yourself. It's a limiting belief. It's a limited way of being. Yeah, it's my choice to make. Yes, it is. But fewer and fewer people stayed in that way of thinking. And more people saw the better way of expansiveness of having electricity. As more and more people come into 5D thinking, come out of those denser energies, start clearing their energy, calling their 3D energy to themselves and say, no, I'm going to use it in this 5D way. And I'm going to be healthy, happy, whole, and complete. And I am going to not do the shame, blame, trauma, drama, woulda, coulda, shoulda game. But I'm going to live conceptualizing from my heart space and telling the mind, shh, you haven't been here yet, so you don't know. We're going to do this. We're going to shine. Shine? We're going to shine? Yeah, shine. Let's go. The more of us that do that, the more people will be in the transitional. They'll be, oh, yeah. I think I want to do that. That looks better. Feels better too. They're happier. And they're right. You know, the more of us that do that, the less energy there is for, the less support there is for, the less room there is, the less, well, there's no energy for fueling this dense stuff. The world has to become a better place. I want to go that way. So I hope that helps bring 3D and 5D into the practical for you, because that is what I want to do. Because we can talk about the multidimensionality of it all day long, and we can talk about it from the metaphysical and the mystical and all of that all day long. And I believe in all of that and experience all of it. But if you don't, then I just sound like Fruit Loop to you. And believe me, I'm not. It is scientific. There is practical basis for all of it. The two worlds have to come together. We have to start talking in terms of practicality, so we can integrate the thinking mind. We've stopped telling people that death to the ego, get your thinking mind out of the way. No, we have to bring the thinking mind on board. We have to show it that expansiveness is a good thing. You're going to shine, shine, shine. It's the weekend, folks. We have a new moon coming. New moon is usually dark, but this particular new moon, well, it's different. Y'all catch up with what I had to say about the new moon in the last video I did, or I may do another one that's just short and just talks about that part. But new moon coming, it's Virgo. It's a new moon we can shine in. Let's all shine.